But I think you're going to find out very quickly that if you could watch one panel about AI, this is the one to watch. We're really, really lucky to have with us Njal Eliasson, from the co-founder of DigiHome, a property management company in Norway that has actually been making some pretty large strokes in AI in terms of their employment decisions. It's a little controversial, so we'll see how the conversation goes. I'm very interested. And then we have Francois Gouelo from EnsoConnect, if you've seen him at his booth outside. I always like to plug this about Francois. Francois actually got, I believe it was his master's degree in large language models, which is the kind of background AI infrastructure to ChatGPT and other AI tools. But he got his master's in this before ChatGPT was even a thing. So if anyone actually knows AI, this is the guy to talk about it. So we're really, really excited to have both of them here. The panel is going to be led by our own Clifford, who you're already familiar with. So let's go ahead and give a hand for the AI panel, everybody.
Good morning, you Guesty vacation rental legends. I hope you all had a great time last night. Most of you have togged out again today, and we're really grateful. AI will most likely be the end of the world. And in the meantime, there will be some great companies. You're laughing. That quote is from Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, a far smarter man than I. But speaking of great companies, I'm very fortunate to be joined on stage today by a pioneer of the AI industry, somebody who can help you put upsells into your business and monetize your guest community, and a property manager from Norway. Why do we have a property manager from Norway? The average cost for landed headcount per hour for the cleaner in Norway can be upwards of $75 US. So that's a good place to start with trying to automate as many human processes as you can in your business. Francois, can you please introduce yourself, fella?
100%. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Francois. I'm the co-founder and CEO of EnsoConnect. We are a guest experience platform for the vacation rental industry. Our focus is really on 3 core verticals. 1, to drive more revenue per guest with upsells, and we'll talk a bit about that today. 2, to drive more operational efficiencies using different tools specific around AI messaging. And 3, to drive more 5-star bookings, because at the end of the day, if you don't have at least a 4.5 out of 5, you are invisible to guests. So that's why guest experience is so important for you as a property manager.
Super, indeed. When I worked in Airbnb, we used to say that the unit of currency for success in Airbnb is your review score. Now, I tried to pronounce your name this morning, and you reminded me that you were indeed not Chinese. So I'm going to go again. It's Njal?
Njal.
Njal.
Yeah, good.
Introduce yourself, fella.
Yeah, so I'm Njal. I'm a representative of, or the founder of DigiHome, actually. So we are a property management company located in Norway. We manage around 70 properties. But as Robin mentioned, our cleaning costs can be up to $75 per hour. It's insane. And that is what the property owner pays. So, yeah. The property owner are often left with like 30% out of the total revenues that we get on short-term rentals. It's so low.
Got it. And my first question is for you, actually. So why is it so difficult to run a profitable STR business today? And how does AI help you in your operations?
Yeah, it's quite insane, right? In the recent 10 years in Norway, we've seen that many companies have tried to do property management, especially in the short-term rental sector. And all of them have failed. I think we are the only one remaining at this moment. All the other ones are going into hotel industries or just quitting because they get tax benefits. So yeah, it's mostly because we are taxed so much on like the costs. The minimum salary is extremely high, and then the ADRs are not that high. So it's, yeah.
So it's a very, very difficult place to do business.
It's an extremely hard place to do business.
And that's one of the reasons why you hooked up with this fella.
Exactly. So I contacted Francois, I think it's almost a year ago now, and started using EnsoConnect. It was 2 things. So we had a lot of damages, and damages cost money, you know. If you will need to clean damages for $75 per hour, it can become a lot. and then also for the upsell part and AI part. So we wanted to buy out-of-the-box solutions, and that's where Enso came in.
Okay, so moving to you, Francois. What's the biggest missed revenue opportunity that AI can solve in the short term, do you feel?
Well, I think upsells is one of the first ones, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about upsells. I like to categorize them into two buckets: the operational upsells and the experiential upsells. The operational are kind of your basics, your early check-in, your late checkout, your mid-stay cleaning. If you tell me that I'm not charging for early check-ins because I want to be nice to my guests, you are missing out on a lot of revenue. The experiential are a bit harder, but you know that your guests are staying in your property, not just for the sake of staying in your property. They're having experiences in the cities, towns, villages, wherever your properties are. So how do you capitalize on those tours, those activities, those museums, and all the other money that they're going to be spending? And the one big thing I would say is, you are the trusted source for most of these travelers. They trust you more than the platforms, whether that's Enso, whether that's Airbnb, or any other tool. So you can curate experiences for those guests, and from a margin perspective, you keep 100% of that. So looking at it purely from profit, it's quite significant. We'll talk a bit about some numbers there.
Now, I've known Francois a long time, and he's a brilliant salesperson, as I'm sure you can tell, and a very good entrepreneur. But the guy in the middle, can you verify what he's saying? Talk to me about how it's impacted your business.
Yeah, I became an Enso ambassador, I think, the month after I tried them out. That was before they actually had the ROI guarantee. I think you implemented that. I think you implemented it because of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at once when we implemented Enso, we had like an almost 10% uplift on our revenues, and that was pure profit. So on the margin, it was probably similar to 15%, I think. It was quite insane. Yeah.
How long did it take to get that uplift?
Oh, that was almost immediately. So we started their team consulted us on implementing damage waivers, or to choose between damage waivers and security deposits, and then on upsells. So our biggest upsell was actually self-insuring through damage waivers. Yeah. And that was such good service at that point.
Everybody loves everybody, it's great. Francois, talk to me about upsells in practice, like the practical reality of putting them in place.
100%. So, I mean, you can sell early check-ins, late checkouts. It's pretty easy. And I would say you don't necessarily need to use any tools to do this. You can actually just go ahead and ask guests, do you want an early check-in? Send them a checkout link and get the money for it. But I like to call it proactive versus reactive upselling. You're waiting for someone to ask you for this upsell and then giving them a payment link. That feels kind of cheap. It feels like, oh yeah, now I have to pay for this extra add-on. Why wouldn't you just give it to me for free? When you are more proactive and it's already available, whether it be through a guest portal or any other tool, where you show the different types of experiences you can curate, and we can stick with just the basics, early check-in and late checkout, the conversion rate is already much, much higher. Now, if you tackle it on as well with some messaging capabilities where you can push to the right guest at the right time and the right type of guest, the right upsell, and by that I mean, not selling a museum ticket for a bachelor party. I doubt they're really looking for museum tickets, and not selling a club night something to a family of 4. It's finding the right upsell that you can curate to the guest, and that's really what creates the high conversion rates for these upsells.
I agree, and I think yesterday when Chris from Marriott had the flywheel of brand up there, sometimes I look at these flywheels from Airbnb, Marriott, and Booking.com, and I think it's quite far away. There's quite a salient point, and I was thinking about your upsell business, that your guest community is in the middle, and then you've got like local bakery, pick up from the airport, rent a bike, all of these upsells around it, and all of this is happening from your guest community, but you're really not monetizing it unless you have this product in place. Beyond the revenue that you drive from upsells, how can AI help you save operationally?
Yeah, so one of the KPIs that we are going to talk about is, of course, like headcount. And since salary costs are so high, especially on the cleaning side, we want to have employees, of course. But when we pay our cleaners and linen suppliers and supply suppliers so much, there's not any room for overhead costs.
Got it.
And that's why, so I matched with my CTO in only 9 months ago, and he was like this developer, hated AI, didn't believe in it at all. And then I showed him like the prototypes that I have built myself. And it's not hard. I'm a finance graduate, but I was able to like build these agents myself. And I showed him what the opportunities was. And he was like, whoa, this is game changing. So we built an AI agent that are able to like when the guests say that something is damaged, the AI will go back and forth to understand the complete context, so that it feels, okay, now I have enough for a quote. It asks for a quote from the maintenance company, the quote is approved by the owner, and the AI actually coordinates when the maintenance company comes in to the guest to repair the broken toilet or dishwasher or mirror, for that sake.
I think that's amazing. There's people in the audience who I know personally, or friends of mine who've got 4,000 properties. I can just imagine the amount of manual work that's involved, even just on the invoicing side, let alone getting the quote.
And especially like the cost control, right? So that's where we have failed. We have not only been not very profitable, but we have also had very little cost control. So when the AI is doing this and you trust the AI, it doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Totally.
Yeah, you get the invoice, you get the time spent, and you can immediately forward the cost to either the guest or the owner where it's appropriate.
Francois, talking about automation, just looking at the guest experience automation, how do you use AI to improve those services for the guest?
Well, the first thing I'll say, and this is to tackle on what Njal said, is humans who use AI will outperform those who don't. And if you're not a believer of that, just give it a couple of years and you will be out of business, because honestly, it is happening across so many different industries. I think the vacation rental industry is one that needs still a bit of time to adopt it, because there's so many edge cases. Every single property manager that I speak with has a different business. Might be a similar business model, but you're running different properties, different guests, different owners. So it feels too far for you to implement it today. But when you actually look at the day-to-day of your team, you're answering Wi-Fi questions, check-in instructions, and basic things that AI could probably answer for you. So I look at it, we've talked about upsells, and this is obviously a revenue driver, but there's, as you mentioned, a cost optimizer there as well. Now, whether that's completely replacing your team or elevating your team to be able to spend more time on marketing or on your brand, I think this is where the direction needs to go. To answer your question though, more specifically, I think in guest communication, we're going to see a lot of implementation of just ChatGPT in your inbox. I mean, this is V1 of where AI is headed. And I know a lot of people have used different tools and have been, not necessarily sure if it works because it still hallucinates and so on. And I would say, in part, obviously the tools need to evolve to have the right guardrails to answer messages for you. But in part, you need to also understand that AI needs to be incorporated in your business. You need to have some sort of champion that drives that kind of adoption. I'm sure, Njal, you'll speak more about that. And that means, I do this at Enso, and we've kind of shifted our support team to say, you're no longer measured on just how many tickets you answer. You're measured on how much you feed the knowledge base so that the knowledge base answers for you, or the AI, answers for you. So it's really championing AI beyond just what ChatGPT can do, which is, I'm sure you're using it to say, write a more polite email to this angry guest, or write a nice email for this and that. It can go much further than that. And as we start talking about agents, they can also start taking more actions on behalf of your team, which you've already demonstrated. So guest communication is a key part. AI is going to be a key part of your guest communication and will ultimately replace a lot of your staff.
Makes total sense. I'm going to call you my Norwegian friend because I'm going to really struggle with it. So my next question my next question is from my Norwegian friend. I always feel like with AI, it's like a balloon. I reach out to touch it and it's always kind of moving further away. What are some quick wins or some low-hanging fruit that maybe people in the audience could do immediately in their business to make it more impactful today or tomorrow?
I think it's a very clear roadmap, actually, because I work in educational technology. I've been like a business developer there. I worked in property management. I worked in the salmon industry. It's always the same. So the first thing you do is always have what Francois was talking about, have an AI champion. This is the person that is allowed to spend their employment time to research AI.
So one person dedicated to AI in your business, because a dog of two owners.
Yeah, and he needs to drive like the AI vision. So he needs to be on Reddit like at least 1 hour a day, read Hacker News and so forth. The second step is to allow that person to implement out-of-the-box solutions. So what we did there was to implement EnsoConnect, for example.
Totally agree. Said this yesterday. Don't try and build your own stuff. It gets expensive. It gets outdated. It's burning headcount calories. There are people with off-the-shelf solutions. Utilize them.
Exactly, and that's what me and Francois were talking a lot about. Okay, what's the next on the roadmap? What should you build? What should we build? Yeah. I'm talking to Jay, my account manager at Guesty, about that as well. Yeah. And we are in continuous dialogue with the Guesty AI team on those roadmap things, so that we don't need to double up on the building. The third thing is to allow your AI employee to spend money. He need to test stuff, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw a massive change when I did this in my educational technology company, where we started spending money on just experimenting.
Yeah.
And it drove efficiency.
Totally
There was this report that came out a few weeks ago where 95% of companies that implement AI are not earning any more money on it.
Yeah.
Or efficiency on it. And that's because they implement Microsoft Copilot. I think that's going to be like the driver.
Got it.
But you need to allow your AI champion to spend money to test the new models, to test the different variety. You have image models, you have language models, you have visual models, or vocal models, right?
Yeah, understood. So just talking about systems integration, so sounds great. How do you integrate this into your business? Like how do they actually work together, these systems?
I would say start off with the concept of knowledge base. And this is where is all of your information stored. When I speak to property managers, they have a Google Doc for this, a Notion page for that. They put some things in Guesty, but some of it's in a spreadsheet. Everything's kind of organized, but mainly organized in their head. And the problem with AI is it can't read your head, at least not yet. Maybe Neuralink will change that. So we need to find a way to structure your content so that it can read better and understand what are those guardrails. I'll give you a very simple example. When we onboard property managers from Guesty, we notice almost all the time that they use the custom field of Guesty for Wi-Fi and never the Wi-Fi field. Now, it's probably because at the time, Guesty didn't have the Wi-Fi field yet and then evolved to having the custom field. But these are the kinds of mini efficiencies that you can create. And it is a bit of manual work to copy-paste back your Wi-Fi field in a Wi-Fi specific segment. In our case, we've just ended up reading your custom fields to call it a day. But it's these kinds of structures that you need to create within your systems, whether it's Guesty, whether it's a third-party tool, even a price management system, and then also being able to write up SOPs. How do you handle certain situations? Because again, it does feel like a case-by-case basis, but I'm sure if you looked back and looked at all the different cases you kind of had the same structure on how you handled the guest who was locked out or the guest who didn't have a clean bathroom. You know, that process needs to be written out somewhere. And once you have that content written out, this is where AI tools, and whether it's ours, whether it's a different one, it becomes so much easier. Because all that data is there, and we've created those guardrails because we're focused on the vacation rental industry, and we understand a guest needs to check in and have a clean property and needs to know about the checkout instructions, and you need to get paid, and so on. So structuring that content, it feels like a lot of work, but I'll bet you right now, if you want to raise your hand, how many of you have information on Google Docs? I see quite a few hands. How many of you use, you know, just your PMS and there's no spreadsheet for other information? Yeah. Oh, okay. I see 2 people. Good. You guys are on the right track. That's 2 out of all of these seats. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just conscious of time because
Yeah.
I'm obviously Irish, so I'm a glass half full person, which means I'm very cynical. And I instantly think when I hear things about making more money, it's bullshit. So what's always interesting to me is the success metrics. So both of you, talk to me about the success metrics. How do we know it works?
So the KPIs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one for us is, of course, headcount, right? We fired our logistics coordinator. We couldn't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
And we got in like these AI employees. And now we have the same amount of efforts without a logistics coordinator.
Okay, so you've one full headcount taken out of your business.
Yeah, it's amazing, to be honest. And that's like the thing that we are continuing to do. So reduce labor by implementing AI in the operational workflows.
And you can repurpose that labor, or you can save the cost and put it back into other parts of your business.
Exactly, and my goal is to earn my property owners money, right?
Of course. Like I said, you're living in Norway where headcount is super expensive, so it's a very salient point.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the first thing. The other is, of course, the implementation of upsells. And I think when Enso develops their communication AI even more, it will drive even more upsell because you can personalize it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a concrete KPI. We knew that in the first, it's pure money. In the first version, we had 10%.
The numbers don't lie.
Uplift.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will come with 15, 20% later, right?
Francois?
I look at it
It's your
as
company, fella.
Yeah.
You've got 25 seconds to
Fair
convince
enough.
people to
I look
use
at it as save time, make money. Simple as that. So how much time can you save in your operations? How much money can you make additionally for every guest? At Enso, one of the things we're really proud of is we back our revenue with your success. So we actually implemented what Njal was mentioning, a guarantee, which means if you don't make your money back after 12 months, you can keep using the platform for free. I don't think there's any system out there that's willing to back their revenue off of your success. We are willing to do it because the numbers don't lie.
Super. And in summation, I've known you a long time, Francois, and I'm a big fan of your business. And Guesty scours the marketplace or the world marketplace to find these companies to bring into our ecosystem to try and add value to your business. And I remember watching the Olympics, which was on in Canada. I think the Winter Olympics was on in Canada about 12 years ago. And the guy who finished first in the downhill slalom, which is the really fast skiing, I'm Irish, I don't know all the technology, he was 1/100th of a second faster than the person who finished fourth. And he went home and he was picked up in an open-top bus. I think it was in Austria. His girlfriend was there. She was very good looking. It was all fantastic. He got like TV commercials, and the person who finished fourth went home and was never heard of again on TV or otherwise or chat shows. The point I'm making is that you don't come to Guesty and spend your money on a ticket and a flight and a hotel to hear brilliant speakers like me. It's part of the reason. Or have a lovely meal like you had last night or a great party like you're going to have tonight. You come here to find 1/100th of a second to put back into your business that can make a difference. I know Francois very well. Gonzalo, who was on stage yesterday from Joyvi, thousands of properties, uses Francois. Several other companies uses Francois. If you put EnsoConnect into your business and you test it, you will make money. It's very binary. You can test it. If it doesn't work, you can switch it off. So for goodness sake, in a time where the macro environment is tough, and we're looking for that 1/100th of a second that makes such a difference to your business, go to EnsoConnect, have a demo, and see if it can put some value into your business. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks to the audience for your participation, and let's have a great day.
100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you.